Paul, we'll start with your injury situation. Any fresh ones this week?
Couple of niggles just to check up on. I don't think it should rule anyone out. But yeah, a couple just from the other night. But as I said, nothing major.
Which players?
Brendan Kiernan and Bryn Morris were the two that just felt little things. Like I say, hopefully that's all it is. I'm sure both want to be in the team, so fingers crossed they come through.
Have they been able to train?
No, in truth.
Right.
One started and didn't. The other one was on recovery anyway.
What are their injuries?
A toe injury and a knee.
And who's got the toe and who's got the knee?
Bryn the toe.
Okay.
And Brendan the knee.
Okay. Any players back this week, Paul?
No. Niles is probably taking a little bit longer than we would like. We've had him re-scanned. There's nothing there that indicates any setback as such. Just a little bit of maybe scar tissue. So still hoping that next week he can be on the grass and maybe back training towards the back end of the week.
Remind us what the problem is with him.
It was his thigh.
Right. As for your performance the other night, impressed many people. What's it, in terms of food for thought, what's it given you?
I think some individuals came in and did well, and then the ones that came onto the pitch also contributed. So looks like a lot of the players are in form, you know, if given that opportunity to start. So that's the most pleasing thing. At the same time, you know me well enough, I'm not getting carried away with it. As I said, it wasn't Crew's strongest starting lineup. At the same time, you can only beat what's in front of you. And again, as I said on the night, the most pleasing thing was the attitude of the players, the way they went about the job. And obviously we got the rewards now of a home tie against a newly or a new Premiership team, and one that's not too far away. Should be a good crowd, but obviously a few games to focus on before that.
You played Kieran Green in a more advanced role the other night.
Yeah.
Has he done enough there to make you think that you want to play him in that position more in future?
I think him and Bryn are certainly can swap. You know, we've played Gav as a sort of 10, not very often, but that if we change the dynamic of the midfield. But I think the other night it works, but as I said afterwards, depending on who we're playing against, I think, you know, I'm not against swapping back. So it's nice to have that flexibility with those players available. And then we've obviously got a couple of other lads that come into the equation in midfield. Couldn't move Harry in there. Evan came on and did well, and has had a good pre-season and started the early season well in terms of training. So we've got a few options in there.
Stephen Wern took the eye as well. How much is he in a position to start this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, he just said it this morning. It's the first 90 minutes he's had for some time. So we spoke about, you know, I was delighted for him to get the goal, especially the time of it and how it came about. You know, it was a good breakaway goal, and he's gone the full length of the pitch and got his reward for that. It's nice when that happens, because he's probably in his mind now, I think I might do that again. So really pleased, but at the same time maybe recovery time, and I've said about him getting fitter, but I think we, as I said, we're genuinely seeing improvements for him on that side, and I'm sure he feels better for it. So yeah, he's definitely done himself no harm, that's for sure.
He's been ready to start a league game now.
He said he feels pretty good, to be honest. Like I said, he's a little bit different as he was in season, then had a little bit of a break, albeit not too long. I think for me, it's just to consider a lot's been going on in his life generally. You know, quite a bit of travelling around, but at the end of the day, he's 19, and I'm sure he won't be asking to be on the bench. So I'll kind of make a decision. I think not sort of worrying too much, certainly, in terms of his fitness.
He's been described by quite a few people as raw. How do you see him?
Yeah, I think that's a fair comment. I think, you know, Luton have spoke about that, but at the same time I know they were impressed by him coming in and training and felt that he was further on in his development than maybe they envisaged. So that's very pleasing. We're hoping to give him that platform to help develop him further, and I think in terms of the type of lad he certainly seems, I'm sure he is. he's eager to learn, so we can work with that, and hopefully it can be beneficial for us, for the player, and for Luton.
Anybody else in for the weekend?
No.
No. Are you getting close though with anybody else?
No.
Right. Fair enough. One thing I wanted to chat with you about is the advert that went out, I think a couple of weeks ago now, for a head of recruitment analysis.
Yeah.
What's the difference between a head of recruitment analysis and a head of recruitment, Paul?
We want that to be a little bit more data driven in terms of the approach. Right, it won't simply be that. There'll still be more traditional parts of the role in terms of going out and watching games, but at the same time, you know, we do want someone looking at that and maybe highlighting some players that we might not pick up. You know, it might give us someone in particular to go and watch. So it's just kind of expanding what we, I guess, have had or haven't had in particular. So we're keen to look at that, but what I will stress, and you know, we've had this conversation with Jason and Andrew as well, is it's just to support the recruitment, not to drive it, and it won't simply be, you know, signings won't come in on data alone, that's for sure. Still a big believer in watching players. Like, the data doesn't tell me if they're a good character. It doesn't tell me what if they sulk, if they're not in the team. So it will only be part of the process, but one that I think we have to move with the times. And as I said, I think we can certainly utilise it, and it, you know, it might be the determining factor if two players are under consideration. Maybe the data shows one is, you know, maybe a better bet. So looking forward to getting that person into the football club. We still, well, at the minute, still collecting CVs. That's almost at closing dates arrived, and then we'll look to interview, you know, any relevant candidates.
Do you know who you want?
No,
right.
no, it's open. That's why, you know, the job's gone out there. Interested to see who has applied. I haven't looked at the applicants as yet, but like I said, just another example of the club progressing. You know, thanks to Jason and Andrew's support.
How great will your input be in deciding who gets appointed there then?
Yeah, that'll be a major part of that.
Will it be your decision?
Yeah, that's my understanding of it. You know, they're very good in terms of, I think they feel I've shown capability within the job. They know what I'm like as a person, what I want. It won't be done on a selfish basis, as in, if I know someone, I'll do what's right for the football club, and they trust me on that side. And ultimately it'll be myself who'll have the closest relationship with whoever gets the job, as well as the, you know, rest of the coaching team. But first and foremost, that's, I guess, I'll be, you know, their line manager, and hopefully we can have a good relationship. On
to Rochdale. You'll be facing obviously Robbie Stockdale's
yeah.
side in this one. How much are you looking forward to that, and how strange will that be?
Yeah, it's nice. I think Robbie's you know, a really good lad. He was a former teammate back in the day at Rotherham many years ago, and then when I first started here as joint manager, Robbie was in charge of the youth team. He's obviously gone on and worked at some very big clubs as assistant manager or first team coach, and has now got the opportunity. I can remember speaking to him last pre-season, funnily enough, when we were away at the hotel on our break, and you know, he's had a year's experience, so he'll be looking forward to, you know, a successful season. We messaged each other, or I messaged him good luck before the season started. You know, he maybe not had the start he would have liked in the league, but obviously extremely early days, and he had a good win in midweek against a League One club, so I'm sure they'll be going into it a lot more confident.
You know him well then. How well do you know his tactical mind?
They've changed quite a bit already in terms of their approach within games. In general, they've been 3 at the back mainly. I think they won part of a game that they changed to 4, but he wants them to play. He wants them to pass the ball. That's obvious. We've seen that. So, you know, we can't say for absolute certainty how they will set up, but we certainly, you know, I've watched the 3 games, know a lot of the players, I believe, and their strengths. Hopefully Robbie's maybe watched us and found 1 or 2 things that might concern him.